Hello, and welcome to Success Formulas.
15 reasons why you don't like being around people. People have various reasons why they don't like spending time with others. If you're wondering why you prefer solitude, check out our selection of 15 reasons why you don't like being around people. Number 1. You are a perfectionist. Some people find it hard to be around others because they are perfectionists. It's not that they don't like people, but they have really high standards for themselves. They worry about not being perfect or making mistakes when they're with others. The pressure to always seem flawless and meet unrealistic expectations becomes too much, so they tend to avoid social situations. Even though they want meaningful connections, they fear not being good enough. It's a constant struggle for them to balance their pursuit of perfection with the vulnerability that comes with being around others. Number 2. You have social anxiety. People with social anxiety may feel unsafe, threatened, or insecure in social situations. These feelings can be so overwhelming that simply being in a social environment causes distress. Socially anxious people don't just dislike being around people, they are frightened of it. Regardless of the cause of social anxiety, it is often associated with an irrational fear of rejection or harm. If you find yourself feeling unsafe and uncomfortable to the point of avoiding social interactions, you may be dealing with social anxiety. Number 3. You are highly intelligent. If you have above average intelligence, it can be the reason why you don't enjoy socializing. You are a thinker and a doer. While others may be preoccupied with their phones or TV shows, your mind is occupied with deep thoughts and analysis. You seek out meaningful interactions with people who share your intellectual curiosity and passion for learning and exploration. You are not interested in being around people because you find those conversations unstimulating. Number 4. You prefer solitude. Has anyone told you to be more social? If so, chances are you are an introvert. Introversion and social anxiety may share some similarities, but they are different. While social anxiety is driven by fear, introversion is about preference for solitude. It is a personality trait that characterizes people who are not so outgoing. Introversion primarily relates to how you prefer to interact with others and recharge your energy levels. Extroverts, for example, recharge by being around people. Introverts feel drained by social interactions. They may appreciate meaningful conversations with close friends and family, but they don't like engaging with large social groups. Number 5. You lack social skills. This could be another reason why you might feel uncomfortable being around people. If you lack social skills, it can be challenging for you to make and maintain friendships. You may struggle to connect with others. Your attempts at conversation may seem awkward or forced. There can be various reasons behind this. Perhaps you grew up in a household where adults constantly argued. Maybe it was the opposite. They rarely engaged in conversation. As a result, you may not have learned how to communicate. The good news is that social skills can be learned, just like any other skill. It requires patience and practice, but it's possible to improve yourself in social situations. Number 6. You are facing a life crossroads. At some point in life, everyone reaches a moment of reflection where they question the path they are on. When faced with a crossroads, you begin to doubt the choices you've made. You may question your accomplishments and even your beliefs. While some people pass through this phase without showing it, others need to withdraw to contemplate their doubts. You can be faced with the decision to completely change your life or to continue as you always have. Such a transformative journey requires profound introspection. Because of that, you may choose to isolate yourself. Number 7. You have low self-esteem. If you don't feel good enough or feel inadequate, you may avoid being around people. The fear of judgment for your perceived flaws and worrying about what others think can be overwhelming. When you lack self-confidence, it becomes difficult to participate in social gatherings. The way others treat you can make these feelings even worse. If someone mistreats you, it can harm your self-esteem. If you recognize yourself in this, it would be good to seek professional help. It will help you to improve your social functioning. Number 8. You find it hard to set the boundaries. You might avoid other people because you struggle with establishing boundaries in your relationships with them. You might fear that setting boundaries will upset them and that they might reject you. However, it is not possible to assume that everyone automatically knows what behavior is acceptable. We all come from different backgrounds and have unique perspectives on what is appropriate or not. By neglecting to clearly communicate your boundaries, others may act in ways that are acceptable to them, but not to you. Disregarding your boundaries can be very frustrating. To avoid these negative experiences, you may avoid entering new relationships where you would have to set boundaries and potentially face the risk of getting hurt. Number 9. You don't like small talk? While many people find small talk challenging, there are those who find the entire process agonizing. Engaging in a conversation about the weather with someone you barely know can be dull. You struggle to discuss it as best you can, desperately hoping the conversation isn't as monotonous as it feels. Meanwhile, your mind races to figure out what to say next. It's one thing if you're in the company of people you're relatively comfortable with, such as family members or friends. When it comes to chatting with people you've just met, you'd rather avoid any situation that would force you into exhausting small talk. Number 10. You are depressed. Depression manifests differently in everyone, but one common sign is social withdrawal. When experiencing depression, you may feel a strong aversion to leaving your home. You may avoid interactions with acquaintances and even friends. Depression can completely isolate you. You might lack the energy or motivation to initiate contact with others, or you may believe that your depressive state makes you unpleasant company. However, it is not recommendable to completely isolate yourself. Spending time with people you like can positively impact your mood. Socializing, even in small doses, can help reduce the effects of depression. Number 11. You have trust issues. Being around people becomes difficult when trust is lacking. You might believe that others will cause you harm, exploit your vulnerabilities, or take advantage of you in some way. Trust issues often come from past experiences where someone let you down or betrayed your trust. Maybe they weren't honest or didn't respect your emotions. These experiences have shaped who you are today, but you shouldn't completely give up on trusting people. Just because you were hurt before doesn't mean others will do the same. It is normal to be cautious, but don't let past negative experiences stop you from trying again and building trust with others. Number 12. You are highly sensitive. A highly sensitive person has similar experiences as an introvert because high sensitivity is more common among introverted people. The primary reason a highly sensitive person may not enjoy being around people is due to exhaustion from excessive external stimuli. The only distinction is that they reach their fatigue point even sooner than a typical introvert. A highly sensitive person becomes overwhelmed by various stimuli, not just social ones. Sounds, smells, bright lights, and even loud laughter can all contribute to their sensory overload. Their minds are constantly engaged in processing sensory information from the environment. Consequently, there comes a point when a highly sensitive person's brain becomes overwhelmed and unable to handle any additional stimuli. Number 13. You are in a toxic company. Sometimes, the reason for your discomfort around people lies not within yourself, but in the company you have. It's possible to be surrounded by the wrong people without even realizing it. This can easily happen, especially during younger years, when we strive to belong to a social group and gain acceptance from our peers. You may find yourself spending time with certain people from your school or college, but deep down you know that you don't truly enjoy their company. You can feel something is not right, but you can't quite be sure what it is. It could be their hurtful jokes, shallow conversations, or a lack of shared interests. However, deep down, you feel like you don't belong there. It may be worth considering reevaluating your friend circle. Number 14. You have outgrown your friendships. Sometimes relationships come to an end because people are growing and evolving into different versions of themselves. As time went by, you started realizing that you had fewer things in common with your friend. The new versions of yourselves didn't quite connect. Your lives started diverging or your priorities shifted in different directions. Interacting with them has become uncomfortable, to the point where it feels easier to avoid them altogether. There are no hard feelings behind your choice to distance yourself. You simply no longer wish to force a friendship that no longer feels compatible. Number 15. You have experienced traumatic experiences. If you've experienced some kind of trauma in the past, you may probably develop some form of post-traumatic stress disorder. This can lead to feelings of isolation and difficulty being around others. When you were younger, people might have ignored or made fun of you because of things like your looks, disability, or other personal traits. Regardless of the circumstances, it's important to know that there are ways to move forward. Seeking the guidance of a therapist can help you process your emotions and work through them in a supportive environment. Have you recognized yourself in any of these reasons? Did it help you to understand why you don't like being around people? Let us know in the comments section. We love reading your comments.
Before you leave, our team will be very happy if you can give this video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.